it's Jennifer from Sea Lemon. I am continuing on with my series of flipping thrifted books, and this time it's into a junk journal. And I am going to experiment with a few things along the way. I will be uploading more consistently, at least for this summer, so if you are here for the junk journal content, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button if you like this video. Let's dive in. This thrift store book was about $1, and the hardcovers caught my eye because they are in good condition, and the inside pages, although kind of boring, I must say, they're blank, and so I thought that might be a good canvas for a junk journal. It's kind of one of those books that get gifted and the person reads through it once and never reads it again, so that's most likely why it's in the thrift store. I think it's a fun challenge to incorporate the past life of the book into its new life, so I'm going to be inspired by the colors on this one. It's very much red and purple. In this case, I don't really want to keep the front cover. I don't really like it, or it's not my style, but I do think I can incorporate some of the metallic gold or some of the pink hearts in the new version, and maybe even some of the pages. I'm noticing that a lot of the newer manufactured books are actually easier to take apart because they are hot glued, and surprisingly, the paper comes off easier, I've noticed, when it's hot glued to the chipboard. So I was really surprised that I could just kind of peel off this glossy paper from the chipboard. Now I have the chipboard ready for new covers, and when thinking about the theme of this new junk journal I want to make, since this whole book deals with love, the theme could be something I love, which I was thinking about plants. Maybe it's like a plant lover's junk journal. And then I started going through all my paper stash, which I have a lot of, and I slowly began to think it kind of resembles like a magic garden. And then I thought secret garden. So maybe this is like a secret garden junk journal in that kind of theme. Inspired by the metallic gold on the front cover, I want to try out this gold waxed Brazilian cord to bind with. I've never used this before, and this will be an experiment to see how it goes. This cover paper I'm using also has gold hints in it, which also relate to it, but the colors aren't really red and purple, so I thought I should add some of that back in, and this goes to show that if you have paper on hand that doesn't exactly match the look you're going for, you can easily grab a paint pen or just acrylic paint and add some of that color to it to make it on the theme that you're looking for. I'm using purple cardstock for the back cover, and for the covers to be a bit more durable, I'm going to experiment again with some varnish. The front paper is a little bit more on the thin side, so I think this will help it and also help some of my messiness on the inside pages. Again, this is an experiment, so I can't really say if this is a good idea or not, but once I use this book and see how it goes, I will definitely let you know. This stuff can be used on just about any painted surface. I have used it before on a pencil case, but I haven't tried it on paper yet, so this is my first go. I have been trying this more than a spray varnish, which is what I used to use on book covers, and I kind of like the amount of control I have on this, and I don't have to find a place to spray. And once it's fully cured, it should be water resistant. After 2 coats, it takes about 72 hours to cure, and I put these outside just to help it dry a bit quicker. And while we wait for that, let's have a little Kona break. Now I have the cover papers dry, and I'm using patterned cardstock for the inside covers. And something else I wanted to experiment, we're just experimenting all over the place with this book, I wanted to try making library corners. If you don't know about those, Das Bookbinding channel has a really good video about them. I will link that. Go check it out. I have seen them before, but I haven't really tried them much on book covers, and they do offer some extra durability to the corners of your book. And after seeing so many of my corners kind of wear and tear, I really want to try making them on more books. And I'm using an extra strength glue stick to glue all the paper down so I don't have to worry so much about moisture warping the paper or the board. I sandwiched the front and back cover with paper to absorb any extra moisture, put a heavy book and a weight on top so that they dry flat. I want to incorporate some of the original pages in this new book, and since I'm making signatures, which are groups of folded paper, I want these original pages to remain folded and intact, not cutting them off. So I'm going to use a seam ripper to go through the stitches I can find, and that allows me to easily release the folded paper without ruining it. For the rest of the pages, I'm going through my paper stash, which I think is one of the most fun things about making books, planning the pages, and I'm looking for patterns that are with the floral theme, red, purples, and also since it's a junk journal, I'm recycling a lot of paper that I've kept on hand. I use these for painted paper collage, which I also want to try in this book. I want all of the pages to be a mix and inviting and fun to experiment on. I thought these floral coloring pages would be fun to put in every other signature, and the style also matches the front cover. For the days that I don't really feel like coming up with something to draw or write, it sounds so fun to just have a page of coloring. And I'm including some of the pages from my other thrifted books. Like this one is all about dried floral arrangements from the 90s. I'm making 10 signatures total, and so I grouped the papers I wanted to stay together with paper clips to keep it organized. And for your reference, each signature has about 3 thick papers mixed with 1 on the thin side. And I did it this way so that the signatures would be a little bit more even and consistent when they're all bound together. So each signature, which is a group of folded pages together, has about 4 sheets of paper. I trimmed all the paper to the same size as the pages in the original book, and I was left with a lot of pretty paper scraps. Maybe in the future I'll make some ephemera packs in my Etsy shop, or if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. Now I'm folding all of my groups of paper together to make signatures, and pressing down on the folded edge so that they stay more flat. And I temporarily taped down any smaller papers so that they wouldn't move while I folded the pages. Okay, now all of the signatures are ready to bind together. Let's move on to the binding holes. To punch through thick signatures, I found it easier to use something more thick like this cork pad, which I made. I just glued 2 pieces of cork together, and a folded scrap paper to use as a template. I measured out 3 holes on each end, and they are each 3/4 inch apart. And now going through each signature, punching the holes in the same spots. For the covers, I marked the same binding holes using a signature as a template, about 3/4 inch away from the edge. To estimate the amount of thread, I'm stringing it along the width of the spine 5 times, and though there are 10 signatures, I'm doing it 5 times because that's a lot easier to bind with, and I will knot it off in the middle of the book. I'm using a curved needle, single threading the waxed cord, and keeping all the signatures in the order that I want them, I'm using a Coptic stitch to bind the book together. If you're somewhat new to bookbinding and you would like a slower step-by-step tutorial, I do have that. You can check it out right here. It is an older video and I have thought about redoing it, so stay tuned. I might just have a new Coptic stitch tutorial coming out soon with a little bit of an update to the technique. But for now, this tutorial does work. I have had a lot of feedback saying it helped people learn how to do this method, so go check it out. I will link it down below. I wasn't sure how all of these different experiments would come together in this book, but I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out. I can't wait to experiment on the pages of this junk journal within the Secret Garden floral theme. Maybe tape some petals or flowers or plants to the pages, use some floral washi tape, also experiment with jelly prints. It's good to challenge yourself every once in a while. I never would have reached for the hearts and the purple, red, metallic theme, and also recycle some of my old paper scraps. I made this piece of art using painted paper to make a soil texture, and I had some left over which worked perfectly in this garden theme. I'm gradually figuring out my junk journal style, so you can look forward to more of those kind of videos on my channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. And I will have some kind of flip through eventually in this book to let you know how the covers held up in all the pages as well. A big thank you to my members and patrons for supporting this channel. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!